In my books, there are only two passions in life: good food and my bicycle. Ever since I can remember, I've had a bike. Well, literally a tricycle. I've cycled my way around the world, eating the most delicious dishes from Pakistan's snow-topped mountains to Mexico's cactus-studded deserts. I must be the world's first cycling gourmet. And now here I am back home, keen to discover the amazing food that is on my own doorstep. Join me, Nell, that's N-E-L-L Nelson, as I eat my way round Scotland. Today, my first stop is going to be hot prawns at one of the most remote restaurants in Scotland, the Applecross Inn at Applecross Bay.
People said I was mad to come cycling in Scotland in November. But if I'd come here with no booking in the summer, I'd be out of my tent covered in mitty bites. I think it was Billy Connolly that said, there's no such thing as bad weather, it's inappropriate clothing. So I've not stinted on my Gore-Tex or my thermals. And with fewer guests in hotels and restaurants, I'm sure of my supper tonight. Judy, hello!
This trip has some highs and lows, from the snow-topped peaks of the Pass of the Cattle to a fantastic cycle down to sea level, which takes in some glorious food shopping, such as delicious handmade cheese from the local cheesemaker, to seaside tranquility. I've heard so much about the local seafood, especially around the Isle of Skye, that I can't wait to get there. Local adventurer and hotel owner Chris of the Glen Elgin has promised me a shopping trip to remember and a few tall stories farside. So for day one, that's 16 miles from Applecross over to Strathcarron, then 8 down to Achmore, another 4 before I roll into Plockton. Then day 2 will be 16 from Plockton on the mainland over to Calray on Skye. That's about 44 miles and 2 wheels. It's not a long distance. These brown bits could be a bit of a challenge. Cycling the brown bits is always worth it, particularly while I'm heading to the Applecross Inn, where I'm meeting Judith, the enthusiastic owner. Judy, I can't believe how busy you are, considering the inn really is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, well, we've got a great location. You came around the bay today on your bicycle, and so where we are right by the sea, so I think location is a good thing, plus the great produce that we have.
You didn't expect to find amazing prawns that I had tonight.
Oh, well, they came straight from the sea across the road in the bay there, so, and we're very proud of those and sell a huge amount a week.
And the prawns, they're creel?
They're all creel-bought prawns, that's right, yes. We have a policy at the inn not to take the buried ones, you know, the ones with the eggs on. We've been doing that for 2 or 3 years now, and we find that's our little bit for ecology to pay back for all the ones that we take out
and
of the sea.
You must go through, as you say, quite a lot of prawns.
Yes,
It's
we
good
do,
payback time.
yeah. We do put a lot of time and energy into it and try to locally source as much as possible.
The cheese, this is all local?
This is all local as well, yes. This is the goat's cheese that we're trying at the moment, the Calumiere.
Oh, it's delicious. Where's this from? How local?
This is from David at Achmore Dairy, the West Highland Dairy.
I'm going to Achmore tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be nice, yes. He's very passionate about his cheeses over there, so it's nice to have them in an area like this. You wouldn't expect to have a dairy providing local cheeses.
Now, what's this one I've got?
That's a Highland Blue. That's my favourite. That's like a soft blue cheese, but that really is I think this is one of the nicer ones.
Because you're open all year round.
We're open all year and we're open all day, and I think that's what, you know, if people are travelling a long way to visit us.
And let's say you're a long way, Judy, 31 miles round that coast,
yeah.
Or 16 miles over the Pass of the Cattle. It's a long way, so you want to be sure.
Yes, and if people want to stop off and have a walk in the sunshine on the way, they don't want to arrive here at 2 o'clock and be told that, sorry, menu's off the table, you can't have lunch. And as soon as word got out that we were open all day, the floodgates opened and it slowly developed year after year after year.
Because you've only got 7 bedrooms, haven't you?
We have, yes, yeah, and that means that accommodation is busy all the time. But they've all got sea views, all on the front of the hotel, so some guests say, oh, it's like sleeping in the sea, you know, they go to bed at night with the windows open and the breeze blowing through and wake up to the views, which can be, well, you've seen today every season, I think, so far.
It's every season, yeah. sleep last night because I was so excited, yet apprehensive about this challenging ride I've heard so much about.
Great, Judith. Thanks so much.
Bye, Nell. Good luck on the Bialek.
Oh, you need it. Bye.
I've piled into Judith's porridge this morning, so I've got enough fuel to get me over the top of the 16-mile pass over to Loch Carron. The question is, will I make it? The hardest thing to cope with is the wind. The gritted road is fine, but the snow is driving into my face. I can hardly see in front of me.
There are only 2 roads linking the community of Applecross with the rest of the world. This is one of them. The spectacular pass of the cattle follows in the footsteps of the drovers who used to drive their cattle to market over these hills. The road from Loch Carron to Applecross climbs to over 2,000 feet and it's full of switchback bends and breathtaking climbs. I've just come down from the summit and I can tell you it's one of the most challenging rides in Scotland, but the views are worth it. I can see over to Skye, Egg and Mull from the top and then looking down to Loch Carron down at the bottom. And the best thing about hills is going down.
Now I'm keen to swap snowy white mountains for crumbly white cheese at the West Highland Dairy at Ackmore, where I'm meeting one of Britain's finest cheesemakers, Kathy Biss.
That was a great ride over the pass of the castle. The sun glinting over Loch Carron. But now I'm looking forward to repeating my cheese experience of last night.
So the first thing you've got to do then is just press firmly down with your hand and feel how firm the curd is. Okay, and then you take thin slices of curd, drop them into the mould very carefully and slide them off.
And this cheese, what's it called?
This is actually a coulommiers, but we call it coulin.
So I had the coulommiers last night at Applecross.
There you are, have a go.
That's my go. Now, if I had been a bit greedy, it's a bit of a big chunk.
Yeah, it drains better if it goes in thin layers.
Thin wee slivers. And so then when will this cheese be ready for me to eat?
Saturday.
So about 5 days from ladling.
So quick turnover, short shelf life, good for markets. It's got a short shelf life because we don't add anything other than the milk, the culture, the rennet and salt.
But you've got a theory, haven't you, about well, being mollycoddled and made to have pasteurised cheese, haven't you?
Well, I just feel that all the food we have is just much, much too clean. And I really do feel that our immune systems are just being compromised by the fact that we don't take on board anything that our body has to fight anymore. And I'm a great believer in my family having raw milk and raw milk cheese. And everybody will cringe.
So how long have you been here for?
We've been here about 18 years.
So, but the locals must have been delighted when you came up with your cheese.
Well, I think the hotels were pleased, but the locals generally were rather ingrained into red cheddar. The most impact we had was after the CJD came to the fore. At that point, not just locally, but the whole country was then querying what their food was, where it came from, what it contained, and from then onwards, our business actually increased, which we've got a very little dairy, and we are rather bursting at the seams. So, and because we want to retire soon, I'm spending quite a lot of time away from home teaching other people in the north how to make cheese so that they're not going to miss us too much.
And how long is the cheese making course?
3 days. 3 days, and then you want about 3 years practicing.
So I was going to say, it's actually quite hard. My arm's slightly sore. Am I doing it right, or have I just been a bit wimpy?
Well, yeah, perhaps a little on the slow side.
Do you go faster?
Just a little.
After all my hard work ladling, it's even harder work deciding which cheeses to take on my travels. But I can always make room for a good bit of dairy in one of my panniers. A good cycling rule of thumb is not to fill your pannier too full when you leave home, because you never know what you might find along the way.